Vegas Golden Knights defenseman Nate Schmidt has been suspended for 20 games for testing positive for PEDs. I'll give you my full thoughts and analysis on this coming up next. Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. If you're new to the channel, thanks for stopping by. We review and discuss all 31 NHL teams, so if you're a huge hockey fan, consider subscribing and clicking the bell so you don't miss anything. So for those of you who watched my video from earlier today or follow me on Twitter, you'd be aware that I've been away for the past 4 days here, so I'm kind of getting caught up here. I know I'm a little late to the Nate Schmidt situation here, but I still want to do a video and kind of give my 2 cents here on what I think of this situation for the Vegas Golden Knights defenseman. Obviously, Nate Schmidt's been tested positive for a PED, which has resulted in a 20-game ban by the NHL. Obviously, Nate Schmidt and Vegas Golden Knights, Nate Schmidt's agent, everybody involved here is very upset over the situation and completely disagree with it. Obviously, we've seen comments from Nate Schmidt basically pleading his innocence and indicating how he disagrees with it. We've seen the Vegas Golden Knights issue a statement kind of saying basically that they have his back, they believe him. Same thing with his agent, obviously. Now, here's kind of what we know about the situation. There's still a few things that are not completely clear, like we don't know exactly when this test was completed. It sounds as though that's something that's been going on for a while during the offseason at the very least. Because Nate Schmidt has already had time to kind of bring in some specialists as well as, appeal the situation with the league. And it looks as though this decision for the 20-game suspension is final. We're also not completely clear on what the substance was in Schmidt's system, but basically the way it's been kind of put here is that it's equivalent to a pinch of salt in an Olympic-sized swimming pool. So obviously it's a very trace amount, but nonetheless the NHL's policy is zero tolerance, thus the 20-game ban. In case you're not aware, the NHL follows the World Anti-Doping Agency's kind of guidelines set out here, which most professional sport leagues follow in order to determine and address situations like this within their league. For these NHL players, regardless of how much is in their system, if they're caught testing positive, as a first-time offender, it is a 20-game ban. This is the first suspension we've seen under this policy since Jared Tenorti was suspended back in 2016. Now, of course, at this point, like I said, Nate Schmidt has denied the fact. He kind of feels he's innocent. The team, everybody involved seems to be, having his back here and agree with this. Now, keep in mind, Nate Schmidt is a type of player who's, kind of gained a fairly big profile over the past year, playing a very big role at the Vegas Golden Knights, being a top pairing defenseman, eating up a lot of minutes on that blue line, and being a very big part of their long run to the Stanley Cup Finals last year. When you listen to Nate Schmidt talk publicly in interviews or whatnot, he seems to be a very likable guy. He's always got a big smile on his face. You can't help but feel bad for Schmidt, and you can't help but like the guy. Obviously, I fully understand and respect this policy with the NHL. I mean, I do think it's important to have these type of anti-doping policies. You don't want your athletes in your league, obviously, taking anything performance enhancing to have an unfair advantage in their play and for their teams. That part I completely agree with and fully respect. But sometimes when you see situations like this, you can't help but wonder if maybe the rules could be adjusted or amended somehow so that the ban here wasn't so harsh for something that very well could have been an accident. But of course, I don't suspect any player in this situation to come out and plead guilty basically and say, yes, I did it, I took drugs, or I did this. They're likely not going to do that. And even if this was something that was done without intent, which very well could be the case, obviously, Nate Schmidt appears to have a really good character. He seems to be a really good person. He's got all kinds of people supporting him publicly here just to kind of testify to that fact, which is all good and fine. However, the policy is policy, and I understand and agree with the NHL's decision here, as much as I do feel bad for Nate Schmidt. Unfortunately, sometimes with policies like this, there can be no tolerance. Now, perhaps, though, what I'd like to see is the NHL maybe adjust and amend the rules here for a first-time offense. Based on the information we have and being such a traced amount here in his system, it does seem highly unlikely that this is something done intentionally to gain any kind of performance enhancement. So I would like to see the NHL make maybe some amendments or some adjustments to how they deal with these types of situations. Like I said, I fully acknowledge and respect the fact that they need to have these rules in place. They need to have zero tolerance. Obviously, they don't want to have liars or cheaters in the game, and that's the main intent here, to eliminate that. And so far, it's worked relatively well. We've seen very few cases in the NHL compared to other major sports leagues. So the part that bothers me the most about this is when you take a look at how the NHL handles some of its other things that they fine and penalize for and suspend, like headshots, or even things that go on in the outside world like domestic violence. The fact that Slava Voinov might actually be able to return to the league. You got the Austin Watson situation as well, where he was charged with domestic violence this past season. Obviously, it just seems to be kind of odd in how they pick and choose what to suspend more heavily for. So as much as I do really like this policy, the fact that they have an anti-doping policy, it's worked well. I feel bad for Schmidt. I understand why they need to do the suspension here, but I'd like to see them kind of spread out how they handle these types of situations across the league so that maybe they can be dealt with a little bit more fairly. So I'd love to hear from you down below in the comment section. What are your thoughts on the Vegas Golden Knights defenseman being suspended here for 20 games? Do you think this is fair? Do you think it's harsh? Do you think the NHL should maybe look at adjusting how they handle these types of situations? If you're new to the channel here, I hope you consider subscribing. We cover all 31 NHL teams, and there are plenty of content here for all hockey fans to enjoy. So if you're new, hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button as well. I'd appreciate it if you did. As always, thank you very much for watching, everybody. We will catch you next time.